Morgana is not really something that I typically see players kind of bring to the table in more organized play. And I'm shocked to see it actually even locked here. I think it's just really a big comfort pick for Iriri, and then the Renekton also coming through.
Comfort picks are for sure a big thing with this best of one tournament.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're playing your best champs in every game.
Yeah, and especially when you have a best of one situation where there is, going to be no fearless draft because there's no multiple games, you can get away with, playing some of these comfort picks, picking up some of these wins that are a little less expected. And to round out the first set of these drafts, we have Kai'Sa locked in for Brock.
Looking at Taliyah for the first ban in the second phase.
Yeah, Taliyah's a very good ban. It always has that kind of global pressure. And when you're pairing that with something like the Ezreal, the Morgana can kind of hit that route, and now it becomes very hard for you to escape, and the Taliyah can just follow up from these mid lane roams. And we see the mid lane pool continue to get pinched, as Mel is what gets banned by OTSU.
Look at that next ban, we got Xin Zhao getting banned out of the jungle. It looks like Brock might be target banning the jungler out of his good pick.
Yeah, because that's kind of interesting, right? Because Taliyah can also be flexed to the jungle. So both of these are, technically speaking, probably jungle bans. And with the Volleybear already picked, they're likely just banning away stuff that the Volleybear struggles into. And okay, that is a Gnar that's locked in. So Gnar is a pretty good blind pick top laner. He does lose, some matchups, but they're always graceful losses. And I think Gnar into Renekton, I'm not sure. Do you know who that favors?
Gnar might struggle a little bit into Renekton all in, but I think Gnar kites really well. If Renekton has a faulty all in, or can't quite reach the Gnar, you can chase him down for sure.
And speaking of all-ins, right, when you get to the team fight phase, you have the Gnar, right, as Gnar just kind of goes in, slams you against the wall, and for more all-ins, we have the Leona, who has that Solar Flare, a good non-committal engage. But wait, this means that this is probably going to be the Morgana flex to jungle, or mid, I guess, yeah.
Oh, Kazakh's pick. We haven't seen any Kazakh picks yet this tournament. Definitely going to be an interesting one. Maybe we'll see the new item Bastion Breaker see some use out of the Rift today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the other thing to think about is No Other Heart, OTSU's jungler, is known for playing a lot of these carry junglers, and Kazakh's is definitely one of those. And I also think that Kazakh should be able to do pretty well into Volleybear if you can get past the early game. Once he gets a little bit of damage, he should be able to duel with the isolated Qs really well. And then the Syndra is what's locked around at the draft, confirming that this Neeko is in fact going to be played support into the Leona.
Yeah, that Kazakh's going to be dangerous if he can get his hands on some kills. Kai'Sa, Neeko, and Syndra are both all going to be at risk in those big team fights.
Yeah, I think in terms of this draft, I would favor Brock, all things considered, just because their draft is mostly pretty standard outside of that Volleybear pick. But again, it's an early game jungler. I think early game junglers are, not terrible right now, as long as they're not like, the premier like Lee Sin, Elise, stuff like that. And then OTSU, a bit of non-standard stuff like the Morgana mid, the Kazakh's jungle, and well, I think they might actually have a bit of struggle in the early game with the early priority.
Yeah, I think so too. They might have a bit more agency top lane with that Renekton pick.
Yeah.
Looking for that, look at those early grubs.
Yeah, but Gnar can still hop away, right? If it's timed well, and if the Ruthless Predator does not come in through at the correct time, then hey, Gnar can just hop away, gank averted, and well, OTSU is now down a lot of tempo, and Brock can play it through. As I said, right, Volleybear, premier early game jungler, right? You can do a lot early, and I think where I want to see this volley go is probably towards this bot lane, interestingly enough, because I think the bot lane has good enough setup between the Neeko, or really just the Neeko, and in the mid lane, it's tough. If the Syndra gets a well-timed like Dark Sphere or Scout of the Week, you might be able to break that Black Shield to get the Volleybear stun, so that is a possible avenue too, but I think it's a little less reliable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Brock is definitely going to look to get those early picks. If Kai'Sa can get accelerated early game, then her late game is going to be absolutely monstrous.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we know Kai'Sa for, right? And looking at this team comp, Kai'Sa should be able to follow up with a lot of this dive, right? Syndra can kind of layer some stuff like the Scatter of the Week, getting a big scatter later on while the volley goes in with his, I forgot what the ult's called, like something like Storm Surge or whatever. No, Storm Surge is an item. Oops.
Relentless Storm.
Relentless Storm. Hey, I got that. And then for Gnar, right, you have the Gnar, right, another great team fight ultimate, and then the Pop Blossom, right. It's just,
Pop Blossom is...
Nikos.
Can't go wrong with Pop Blossom.
And then Kai'Sa, she shouldn't really have any trouble with jumping in whenever these engages happen. And on the other side of OTSU, I think they have solid ways to be able to disengage, right? The Black Shield, if you hit the correct target, should be able to stop.
Black Shield is definitely going to be good for keeping that Cinder Stun off of Ezreal.
Yep.
For sure. Ezreal has his own ways to heal himself, too, with the
Arcane Shift.
Blink. The Arcane Shift.
Arcane Shift. And then, I mean, also the Dark Binding, right? That is I think it's 2.5 scaling up to 3 seconds root. And that is, it's a really good route. It's a really good disengage tool if you hit it when they try to jump in on you. And then, yeah, Leona. And hey, overall, we are getting a bit of a preview of the games that have happened today, right? So just kind of running through things specifically for both of these teams, right? OTSU coming off of a loss early in the day, match 3 against Humber, and then losing again against Guelph, now sitting down at 0-2. And OTSU is going to be playing against Brock now, and then Brock on the other side has a win against Durham early, and then just lost against Western. So they're sitting at 1-1. I think both of these teams very excited, as looks like we are finally starting to get on into game.
All right, both teams heading out onto the Rift, getting all set up.
Yeah, overall, I don't really see anything spicy happening early, right? I know we do have a Morgana, we have a Leona. Those characters do tend to do pretty well in this like early game cheese picks, but I don't really expect it.
Yeah, looks like OTSU is looking for some pretty standard like 5-pointing on the top side and looking for some early prio in the bushes and bottom. And then looks like Nara on the top side is looking for some early bush prio as well.
Yeah, I think Gnar Renekton, early bush prio is pretty important for Gnar, as if Renekton is able to kind of control those bushes, it makes it really hard for you to figure out where you can actually stand and where you can take this this farm carefully.
Absolutely.
On the bot side, there's a lot of poke actually coming through and a bit of an early trade.
Both teams looking about even there. Oh, some pretty heavy trading in the top side.
Yeah, in the mid lane, we do have a bit of a fun little interaction. Fat Mage player getting chased out and putting in a good amount of damage. This auto attack trading, it's starting to hurt, and a good dodge on the Dark Sphere by Fat Mage player means the damage is a little low. But on the bot side, there's a bit of trading, but hey, the Dark Binding missed, and now Fat Mage player is looking really low. No Ignite though, as Fat Mage player should be able to run away. Flash burned, and I think Hidden is happy.
A lot of pressure taken out from OTSU mid lane there. Gnar hitting the teleport up the top side after taking presumably not great trades. Having to hit the rest of that CS at their tower.
Yeah, I think a lot of trading back and forth top. As you can see, both top laners have used their teleports really early on in the game. Yeah. So I think they did go for a level 1 trade. Darken Moment pushed out the wave, and now Helium is just collecting what he can on the bot side. Disarray is taking a good amount of damage. And
both junglers are clearing their way towards bot side.
Yeah.
Whichever jungler makes it there first is probably going to have a great chance of influencing the rest of the game.
Yeah, but if you keep in mind, this is a Volibear versus a Kha'Zix. Volibear should be a lot stronger at this point in the game, and if the Kha'Zix comes through and doesn't hit a good isolated Q, well, this Volibear should be able to turn things around. And with where the wave is, I think the side of Brock is just looking to try and shove the wave in, crash it, and then leave.
Yeah, and it's 3v3, they probably can't. They probably can't tower dive OTSU bot lane.
Yeah.
But in a 3v3 in the middle of the lane, I think that would probably go to Brock.
Yeah, I think that's very doable, and well, on the top side we do see a bit of trading. Mid lane, Fat Mage player was forced back, and it does burn the teleport early, so that means Hidden actually has this teleport advantage, and look at the mana situation, they can actually stay for at least like another wave or 2.
Yeah. Hidden definitely keeping a lot of mid lane pressure there. Volibear is going to get the bot lane Scuttle Crab.
Oh, but a bit of a scrap in the bot lane. JFF is forced away after using the flash. Not ideal, but now Joan Bones is considering coming around for a regank. Maybe not opting for it yet, but now it looks like Disarray is alone, and I think he doesn't expect it. Oh, they're encroaching bit by bit. Hits the arcane shot, realizes that's not Kai'Sa, and now Joan Bones comes through, hits Disarray, and that's the first blood. Unfortunately for the side of Brock, it does go into the Nico, but I think they're happy nonetheless.
Yeah, too bad for Ezreal.
Yeah, a little bit of greed there, you know.
Kha'Zix is going to get that topside Scuttle Crab for the vision, so they can play more for agency of topside.
Yeah, good here by Brock. They're trying to make sure this crashes, but the health situation with Ezreal coming back, like, it feels really bad, and now Joan Bones is looking for mid lane, but remember, this is Morgana with Black Shield. Joan Bones is spotted up. The Dark Binding hits, and yeah, there's a Scout of the Week. And on the bot side, we actually see a kill by Iriri on JFF, who I think may have been a bit lazy in his attempt to recall, and, well...
Looks like Iriri's going to get the cheater recall in there so he can spend his gold.
Yeah, both supports will be the carries. I think that, no, it's not happening. Both supports catching the early kills, trying to put a little bit of gold into their pockets, maybe be a little tankier in the interactions they're going to be taking in the 2v2s down bot lane. For sure, for sure.
The wave is crashing bot lane for Ezreal as he's slowly pushing that one out. Gnar getting back to lane, probably looking to get a little bit of poke on Renekton.
Yeah, and I think despite the early trade, Gnar is doing kind of fine. We do see another attempted bit of a trade there, but yeah, the hop away by Gnar means that he's not under any more threat. And Iriri, he's under vision. He can't really hide.
Vision there, taking a little bit of poke from Yemez.
Yeah, in the mid lane, this is a very slow early game, and with the Dragon spawning, I hope to kind of see some sort of early fight around Dragon, but as it stands right now, it doesn't look like it. It looks like No Other Heart is just going to clear out the vision, set his mind on Dragon, because you look at mid lane, you look at bot lane, they're both pushed in towards Brock, so this should be a relatively free Dragon for OTSU.
Yeah, bot lane there has got full prio. It's like Dragon.
Yeah, full prio, no vision for Brock, and yeah.
Nothing up on the top side to grab, so Volibear's just going to go to the spawn side first.
On the top side, we might be having a bit of a scrap here, as I think Helium and Darken Moment are just going at it. Now, Mega Gnar is about to time out, and I think he opts for the Gnar there before timing out and wants to continue this fight here. He does have the speed popped by the Fleet Footwork and will nearly pop the passive. Darken Moment sidestepping in to make sure that Helium can't continue to chase.
Bot side. Jeff looking to secure some vision on the triangle brush and pixel brush. Yam is looking to get a little bit of poke there.
Yeah, but we do have a 3v3 potentially in the cards. Both junglers sweeping out their respective bushes. Joan Bones knowing that there is no vision on him, No Other Heart. He knows he is seen, and Joan Bones spots him out, but he gives away his position as well. And, well, recognizing that the other jungler's there, he's like, you know what, I can't make a play. I'm just going to recall and try my luck topside.
Yeah. Looks like topside might be pushing out there, though. So. Oliver's got his red buff up and Scuttle Crab to look for.
Yeah, and I think we do have a bit of a scrap here on the bottom side. A stun coming up into the game, and Disarray just Arcane shifts forward. A lot of damage onto the Nico, and the Nico does go down, as now Jeff is in a bit of a tough situation. He's trying to get the damage back onto Disarray. The True Shot Barrage comes through, and his shot is true as he finds the double there. And Darken Moment, he's now going on to Helium there. No Gnar this time, but the Dominus is available. Flash answered with another flash, and the Dominus is ticking. It's timing, and that's Darken Moment finding a solo kill onto Helium. It's all going OTSU's way.
Absolutely massive for OTSU, getting better tempo in both bot lane and top lane, making sure to get those tower plates. Especially with the...
Look at the Volibear, right? Joan Bones is coming around. The teleport is available, but it will be a little late. As now Darken Moment, he jukes him. He shatters the ankles as Joan Bones is gone. And, well, no flash, no ignite. That Renekton looked juicy, but, hey, not able to find him.
Clean escape from Renekton. Absolutely. With those extra tower plates, he's going to be more accelerated, and with this new top lane meta, having a stronger top laner is absolutely going to be crucial for the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely, and well, we do see a lot of pressure towards this top side as Grubs are about to spawn. We see Iriri setting up some vision, and Joan Bones, I don't think he realizes he's walking into 3 really soon. He gets the stun to No Other Heart, and as Iriri goes in, the double Scout of the Week is hitting good with a good sidestep. The Soul Flare coming down as Joan Bones is taken down in Exhaust with the Dark Shackles as Hidden gets taken down, a double kill onto the Kazakhs. I was talking pre-game about how No Other Heart is known for carry junglers. I think this is his time to shine.
Looks like OTSU is absolutely keeping that momentum going forward, taking those grubs with the mid lane kill. Morgana moving in to take those plates in the mid tower.
Yeah, both the jungle and the mid getting accelerated, and we do have a good amount of a gold lead here for OTSU. I think off the top of my head, I believe a lot of the gold would be on the Kazakhs here and on Disarray, who I think honestly are probably the biggest carries of this team when you consider the characters they're playing.
Helium hitting a bit of the wall smash there.
Yeah, it is the Gnar, as it's called. Just his name, but a little longer. And, well, a lot of the time it's used as a bit of a trading tool because, at least in the early and, mid-game before these big fights, because I believe it's not a terribly long cooldown, and you know, it's pretty good altogether.
Yeah, the Gnar comes up pretty much every time he's got his rage up, so he's got to use it while he can.
Yeah, it depends on really the timing. And, well, as we look through all the lanes have slowed down to a crawl once more. Good amount of trading coming through from Helium onto Darken Moment, but Helium is looking pretty weak as there is a long sword of difference, and that could be very important.
Looks like Volibear's looking for a little pick here in the bot lane while Kha'Zix is busy clearing his bot side camps. OTSU playing pretty safe though. Doesn't look like Volibear's gonna have an angle here.
Yeah, but look at where Yamez is. He could just hop on in with the Pop Blossom. No flash though, so it'll be a little difficult for him to get on. A good amount of poke coming through on Disarray, and I think Disarray and Iriri, they're a little worried about where Yamez could be in. He runs on in, is going to pop the Pop Blossom, doesn't opt to do so, just opts to get a little bit of poke on in. I mean, it's almost a full HP Leona. You're not killing that.
Disarray takes the Arcane Shift over the wall just to stay safe.
Yeah. And I mean, I think overall, looking at the CS difference, everyone seems to be pretty much at the same amount, right? Except for that jungle difference here. No Other Heart, 2 kills up, 20 CS up. He is probably a large chunk of this gold.
Definitely. It's a very controlled game of League of Legends. So a lot of the income difference is going to come down to farm.
Yeah, and if you look at the objectives right now, Chemtech Drake is about to come up, so that could be a second Drake for OTSU. And I think that is why Disarray is choosing to back here. He wants to back, he wants to come back in time to help with this Chemtech Drake.
Absolutely. Looks like Brock is setting up around Dragon. Posture. That control ward is still in the pit though, so they've got OTSU has a little bit of vision. TP coming in from Morgana.
Yeah, and they do spot out the members of Brock, but I don't think they expect Yamez to be there, and the Pop Blossom is still available. The positioning very dangerous. Yamez goes in with Pop Blossom, 2-man Pop Blossom, goes in with Fat Mage player. Joan Bones gets the kill, and now he dives on in into the 3 other members, but No Other Heart goes back in. He gets the kill onto Yamez. We get shut down on the backline by the Volibear, but Disarray, he's just free firing. It's a 2v2, but the health bar is looking low for Brock. Another kill on to the different members of Brock, and that's a triple kill for OTSU.
Such a close team fight. Absolutely carried by No Other Heart, for sure.
Oh, but we might just be seeing a solo kill. The Dominus is popped by Darken Moment, but Helium, he's being very careful about where he's stepping. He doesn't want to get a chance to be dove on, and, well, Darken Moment dives on in, gets a Call to Meek, and runs on back.
All right. Looks like Volibear and Kha'Zix are coming back to look for some more full clears, and then with the map open, they're looking to establish some prio for their laners.
Yeah, and kind of as we discussed, right, this gold differential, not as much of it as I thought was actually lying on No Other Heart. And I think that might have been because the shutdown was collected onto him by Joan Bones in the previous fight. But as we can see, Disarray is the one holding a lot of that cash in his hands with a difference of about 1.4k.
Looks like Yamez is looking for a bit of a roam topside. With top lane pushing in though, it might be a little hard to find an angle.
Yeah, I mean, reminder, it is a Renekton, but it's a Renekton without Dominus. So that is actually very diveable if you play your cards right. And Yamez is looking to do so there. We nearly see a catch onto Hidden there by Fat Mage player, but again, it is a Morgana. The Syndra's at full health. It's really tough to go for that one shot compared to what the Syndra can do.
Yeah, Darken Moment looking pretty low here without Dominus. Healy might look to play for an all-in. We'll see. Yeah, and some good poke.
I think Helium was thinking that Darken Moment's Dominus was actually back up, and in truth it really wasn't, because if Helium Moment dives on in further, I genuinely think he gets the kill into Darken Moment. But hey, I mean, a bit of a miscalculation, but you don't have all the information to work with, so I don't fault it.
Of course, right? One little mistake too, and it's, you know, Darken Moment's absolutely back in this game.
Yeah. And you do see the Gnar pick up that Crystalline Overgrowth hit, and ooh, that could be a second plate to the top side for Helium, and Helium is roughly looking even with Darken Moment. And on the bot side,
No Other Heart looks like he's sitting in the bot push there. Gonna recall though, keep tempo.
And oh, we do have the mid lane quest complete actually out by Fat Mage player, so I believe that is extra damage off the top of my head. I don't recall what the quests do nowadays.
Yeah, mid lane's gonna it's gonna get those upgraded boots from the previous season.
Yes.
Now that they've been removed from feats of strength, now they're being moved just into the mid lane quest.
Yeah, and
looks like Volibear's also built that new item, Dusk and Dawn.
Yeah. And we see a potential fight in this bot jungle here as the Nico already gets blown up, and now Joan Bones is in a bit of a tough situation. He flashes away and just tries to pop the Q to run away, and well, that's a blue buff claim for OTSU as well as the flash and a kill. I think they're pretty happy with that.
For sure. They're going to take that momentum and probably look to take the bot side tower now that we've got Yama's down.
Yeah, bot side tower and a dive, right? Look at where Jeff is sitting. He has 3 members encroaching, and he can't leave. Iriri and No Other Heart are right there. The Kazakh has the Void Assault, so he can just chase Jeff down if, you know, if he overstays. Ooh, but a good Killer Instinct out, but the Solar Flare, they try to follow, and now Yamez is back. Tries to go for the root on Iriri, but doesn't find it, and really well played there by Jeff to actually live the dive and buy enough time for Yamez to push.
Awesome save. I was almost sure that Jeff was going to die there since he had no minions with him, so he's isolated for Kazakh to get that extra damage.
Yeah, on the top side, we do have a bit of a duel. The Dominus popped by Darken Moment, but I don't think he has the ability to close the gap onto Helium. And look at Helium's Narbar. It's popped. He does have the Mega Gnar, and look at Joan Bones. Joan Bones is coming through. This is going to be a 2v1, but it's Renekton. Opts for the flash, slice, dice, and he is out.
Clears the entire, half the entire lane with one fell swoop.
Yeah, but now we have No Other Heart taking this Rift Herald. I think he has to be a little bit careful as his teammates don't really have priority. But I don't think that's really mattering now, as Helium just does opt to recall.
Yeah. Looks like, yeah, No Other Heart's going to have his option to take the Herald here, since Nara's taking his recall and Volibear's just taking his top side.
Yeah, that he is, and now looks like this Volibear might have a little bit pressure on him in the jungle, as Iriri and No Other Heart want to move around, reinforce on Disarray, as Yamez wants to look for a cheeky Pop Blossom, as Hidden is actually coming through with a Scatter the Weak, just catches Iriri a little bit of damage onto Disarray as well, but not enough damage to make them willing to commit.
All right. Both teams seem to have backed off. Balder trying to take his last camps there, trying to catch up at farm, since he's being behind No Other Heart. He's about 20 CS down, needs to make up that CS lead in order to stay competitive.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing here to call out, right, look at Disarray. Disarray already has the Essence Reaver and is pretty close to fully stacking that mana immune, making it into that Muramana. And now, with the Dragon up, this is a crucial turning point here, as this could bring OTSU up to Soul Point.
Yeah, looks like both teams are posturing around Dragon. OTSU has the upper hand here, with that extra gold lead. Bad Mage player walking forward with the Black Shield.
Oh, but on the top side, while all that was going on, Helium does find the shutdown, but now we have an engage in the bot jungle here as Iriri goes on in onto Hidden. That Pop Blossom hits only one. No Other Heart jumps on in onto Jeff. Yamez and Jeff both looking really low. Disarray is godlike, going 1, going 2, and nearly finds the 3rd there. It's actually a jump through from No Other Heart that catches the 4th, but that's 3 kills to the Ezreal, and OTSU will claim their Soul Point without contest.
The only option for Brock at this point is for Helium to absolutely push his top lane advantage and try and get as much as he can on the side lane.
Yeah,
looks like mid tower's going down there for Brock. Brock dude, along with that dragon.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is we're saying, oh, Helium's chance is to go for that top push, but unfortunately he didn't even get that turret, which is the saddest part of all of it, right? A second turret found for OTSU. They find that Soul Point, and I think Mountain Drake is probably relatively important for the side of OTSU, as it makes them a little bit more difficult to be bursted by Hidden, by Yamez if he catches, you know, the Pop Blossom onto one of the squishy members of OTSU. So I'm really worried for Brock.
Absolutely, and with how fed Disarray is, being as elusive as Ezreal is, having that extra shield from Mountain Soul is going to make it extra difficult to burst down once you actually do finally catch him.
Yeah, that it is, and hey, no vision on the members of Brock by OTSU, but they are encroaching. This is a 2v2, going to be an extended 3v3 very soon. The Solar Flare comes down into Joan Bones as Iriri just tries to go in, hits the stun into Joan Bones, but they're a little deep there as the members of Brock are trying to reinforce. Hidden and Jeff are coming on through but I think Iriri and Disarray as well as No Other Heart will be able to make enough space. Helium, though he's close, gets the Gnar onto just one. Iriri gets bursted down, but a lot of damage coming through onto the members of Brock as OTSU just tries to stay in free fire, but they don't get a chance to trade one back. I think Brock will walk away being somewhat happy from that, but you have to keep in mind, right, Darken Moment is sitting in the bot lane pushing things up, and things aren't over yet as Hidden takes a lot of damage. He gets rooted. I think No Other Heart could go in, get the execute. He tries to go in and dives away from that top loss of this fight. It still continues though as Disarray. I think he's considering Arcane shifting forward. He Arcane shifts, gets one, nearly goes for the second, gets the second, pops the barrier, gets taken down by Jeff, and now No Other Heart. Jeff is isolated. He's alone with no friends to surround him. OTSU's jungler takes a 6th.
Absolutely. Darken Moment pushing that bot lane, forcing their team to split up, gave them the opportunity for that close to ace.
Yeah, near ace is Joan Bones. He's just left to take his glue buff. I mean, you know, I would have hoped, you know, some of these turrets could get pushed, and no fault to them. The members of OTSU are doing a really good job at making sure these waves get pushed out so that Brock cannot find any sort of cross maps when they lose on one side.
Absolutely. And this, with the new season changes, with having home guards all the way out to your outer minions, tempo is absolutely crucial to have. So you push out those minions so you have that better tempo.
Yeah, that it is. And hey, looking at the gold right now, it is a 7K advantage for OTSU. And individually speaking, No Other Heart, Disarray, those are the biggest advantages I see. 2K for the jungler, 3K actually, or almost 4K, but hold on a moment, we have a fight as Yamez gets dove on and Joan Bones soon to follow. That's 2 easy kills, and now OTSU, they turn to the Baron.
Looking like a pretty free Baron there with Joan Bones and Yamez.
It's all dark.
Count. And especially with Gnar having to respond to that, respond to the Herald in the bot lane.
Yeah.
It looks like Mage players are going to teleport to the bot lane to try and defend it with no cost to the rest of the team, and they secure the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, that's the saddest part about all of it, right? OTSU, they get the Baron, but what can Brock get? Fat Mage player TP'd around, and well, you can't even get this bottom lane turret, even despite it having that crystalline growth on it.
Right, yeah. I mean, with having only 3 players up, OTSU actually absolutely had the opportunity to choke out Brock University, and they took that opportunity.
Yeah, and the next possible objective here for Brock to make a comeback is this Mountain Drake. Now, it would be soul for OTSU. Do you think it is worth them actually fighting it, or just gamble and trying to flip an Elder?
Well, OTSU absolutely will take over the game if they get that soul. Brock University, this might be their only opportunity. If Yamez can hit a 4 or 5 person Pop Blossom and maybe explode Disarray before they can get that soul, that might be a turning point for the game.
Yeah, I'd say so. So that really kind of relies on OTSU and, you know, really, especially Iriri's vision control, right? If Iriri can make sure that Yamez gets spotted out early, well, no Pop Blossom to be found.
Right. It's hard for Joan Bones as well to be that engaged, because as the game progresses into the mid-game, he has a harder time getting onto those champs. And if he's not fed, then he's going to have a hard time surviving to get all the way into that backline.
Definitely. We did
Joan
see
Bones needed to eat, and all he got was scraps.
Yeah, and we did see a bit of a chase up this top side, but with this Gnar bar timing out, Helium's going to have a bit of trouble dealing with Darken Moment, and Darken Moment will get a free chance to just let these Baroned up minions push in. But I think he's taking the smart play of recalling here, making sure this Mountain Drake is as difficult as possible, as if we could get a little bit of a tab on the vision for Brock, I think it's completely lights out for them. We do see a bit of an engage onto Mage players. The Unleashed Power is popped early there, and now Yamez goes on through. That's a 3-man Pop Blossom to dive in from Joan Bones. This is looking pretty good. Fat Mage player find the opener onto Yamez, and Disarray looking very low. That's the Ezreal who needs to be carrying, but the health bars of Brock are evaporating. Helium 2-3-2-3, the last one to exist, but he is going to be turned into thin air.
That's too bad for Brock U. Jeff looking there for the pick on the back line, but couldn't quite get there. And it looks like OTSU is skipping the dragon, going right for the end.
Yeah, I mean, there are 2 objectives up on the map right now, right? Mountain Drake and the Nexus, and I think one of them is a little bit higher priority than the other, but with the respawn timers coming in, I think they're very happy to just take these 2 inhibitor turrets and then walk their way over to Dragon.
Yeah, No Other Heart taking that Dragon Soul, while the rest of their team's looking to take those inhibitor turrets for that extra plating.
Yeah, we see Dark Moment up on this top side, just trying to get this wave to crash in, but I think with the members of Rock U already up, he won't really get a chance to take anything more than the second tier turrets.
Yeah, that entire Brock's entire topside jungle and bot side jungle is pretty much gone. Strangling them for resources. It's going to be real tough for Brock to get back in this game.
Yeah,
Shutdowns are their only hope.
Definitely, and well, the next objective that would exist is that Baron in 3 minutes, but there is a very real world we don't even get to 3 minutes. As OTSU, they have been slowly choking out Brock, and with the Mountain Drake available, or the Mountain Drake Soul available to them, they can actually affordably try to go and push this top turret, take that down, take some inhibs down. If they take a little bit of chunk, walk away, regen the shield, and then try again.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard for Helium to generate any pressure in the bot lane there. Since Fat Mage player and Darkened Moment are both so strong at this point, it's hard for him to generate any pressure against them.
Yeah, and well, with how the vision looks for the side of OTSU, it's hard for Brock to really find any sort of angles. Right, their jungle is almost completely lit up. It tells them exactly where Yamez will be. It tells them exactly where Joan Bones will be. And those are the kind of two big targets that need to get onto the backline of OTSU. And in the previous fight, with the flash having been used on Yamez, this means that this Pop Blossom honestly won't offer much threat for a little bit because Disarray is so mobile with the Arcane Shift.
Absolutely. And OTSU is doing such a good job of keeping themselves grouped up, keeping Brock from looking for any of those picks, because that's a pick on OTSU is Brock's only way back into this game, and they're giving no opportunities whatsoever.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, this 14k gold lead for OTSU completely choking out Brock. 5 of that is actually on Disarray alone, and that is a little disturbing. 4 more onto No Other Heart. As I said, the 2 biggest carries this game.
I will say, though, I'm a little disappointed we didn't see Bastion Breaker on No Other Heart this game. I would have liked to see the new items.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but I think he's pretty okay with trying to build some of these slightly more defensive or supportive items, really, like the Umbral Glaive, like the Edge of Night, like the Serpent's Fang, honestly, because that's another good one, is there are some shields, right? The Volibear having the shields, I think... No, Nico doesn't have Guardian, never mind, I was looking at it wrong, but then the Killer Instinct, right? The Serpent's Fang basically makes it so that even if Jeff uses the Killer Instinct, you should be able to just one-shot him if he's isolated.
Right. Yeah, Jeff absolutely can't use that as an engage tool unless they're absolutely sure they can get the kill, which at this point is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, definitely. It's not looking good, and I think the members of OTSU, they were smart to kind of wait it out till this Baron, and it looks like we might have a bit of a skirmish up topside, or I think they're just poking and prodding.
John and Ezreal moving up. Yam is using the clone for a little bit of vision on where the enemy team might be.
Yeah, but no vision besides that clone that just comes through periodically. And
Helium doing his absolute best to generate some pressure on the bot side while they're trying to take Baron here.
Yeah, but look at where Fat Mage player is playing, right? He's trying to deny any entry, and there's a teleport. It's coming through for Helium, and Joan Bones, he just has to pop the Stormbringer there for Joan Bones, doesn't get the flip there, and now a lot of damage coming through onto Brock. That's a kill onto Joan Bones, a kill onto Yamez, and even more kills. Jeff finds the trade onto Iriri, but not before more members of Brock go down, and with Helium being the only one left alive, this is looking like the remnants of the last fight, as he is just left to limp away and then be finished off.
No Other Heart finds the last kill there, and it's looking like GG's for Brock.
Yeah, No Other Heart. Heartless with that Goomba stomp there onto Helium, just jumping on in, getting the kill, getting on out, and well, the Nexus is about to fall. OTSU will bring themselves up to 1-2 with this win against Brock, but hey, not before they find another kill onto Yamez.
It's going to look like the strongest shutout for today's games.
Yeah, definitely, right? I think both of these teams played very well, but OTSU, after having a really rough starting to the day, I think they've done well to kind of claw their way back, find their footing for the playoffs, right? So I'm excited to see what they'll bring to playoffs. And with that in mind, right, before we hop off air, before our final game of the day, I would like to take another chance to thank Esports hosting office, Waterloo Region, for sponsoring. And anything else you want to say before we hop off?
Absolutely amazing performance from OTSU this game after their 2 losses previously in the day. Amazing comeback and an excellent show of force.
Yeah. With that, everyone, thank you, and don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the final game of the day on the other side of this break.
Classic. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, chat, this guy is cooked. Oh, pre-fire. Pop it open. Warming up those fingies. And now he's just not missing any shots? That can't be how that works. Moving on. Oh, obelisk. And chimps in VR helmets. And a legally differentiated enough version of film score.
Technology has revolutionized our lives, from work to learning, product delivery to shopping. It's not just amazing. It's the force behind making amazing things happen in our homes, schools, workplaces, and journeys. These advancements underscore the pervasive impact of technology on various aspects of our lives, continually shaping and enhancing our daily experiences and abilities in amazing ways. Empowered by technology, we forge a future where possibilities are limitless. All of us at CDW, we make amazing happen.
my zone.
Yo, good shit. Yo, get this kid, bro. I got. Yo, good shit, bro.
Classic. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, chat, this guy is cooked. Oh, pre-fire. Pop it open. Warming up those fingies. And now he's just not missing any shots? That can't be how that works. Moving on. Ooh, obelisk. And chimps in VR helmets. And a legally differentiated enough version of film score.
Technology has revolutionized our lives, from work to learning, product delivery to shopping. It's not just amazing, It's the force behind making amazing things happen in our homes, schools, workplaces, and journeys. These advancements underscore the pervasive impact of technology on various aspects of our lives, continually shaping and enhancing our daily experiences and abilities in amazing ways. Empowered by technology, we forge a future where possibilities are limitless. All of us at CDW, we make amazing happen.
That I'm in my zone.
Oh, yeah! Oh my god, let's go! Holy oh my god. Yo, good shit. Yo, get this kid, bro. I got it. Yo, good shit, bro.
Hello everyone and welcome to the final game of the WaterLAN Day 1. We are going to be having St. Clair versus Durham, brought to you by the Esports hosting office of Waterloo Region. I'm joined here this time by Jason. How's it going?
Well, I'm very excited for this final match of the day. Durham are definitely the underdogs coming into this, but I do have some hope in them. Well, what do you think of St. Clair?
Yeah, I think St. Clair, compared to some of the other picks we have seen throughout the day, some of the other off-meta picks and some of the stuff we've seen that are very fun, St. Clair are very much of a, we pick what we think is good and we get it done.
They are locked in.
Right? Yeah, as we say, they are locked in. They have a strategy they want to execute. They will go with that strategy, and that strategy very often aligns with the current meta of the game.
Whereas on Durham College's side, I think we are going to see some interesting picks, such as they do pick Talia jungle sometimes, so I'm wondering if they will pick that one. Because after all, even if you decide later to not put her in jungle, you can put her mid, and that's a very reasonable pick.
That's very true.
They do have two supports that alternate playing. I'm not sure which one they're going to send for the last one.
Yeah.
It could be a Yumi, the Nico Yumi player, or maybe the Zac Fresh Zillion player. It really depends.
Yeah, I mean, both Adam and Dolly have their own set play styles with how they want to play the game. Now, it's really up to the side of Durham to decide if they want to go for more of that engage and more flexibility, or if they just think, you know, we'll lock the enchanters, we'll play something like the Aphelios, which has shown really good prowess today with the enchanter supports.
Indeed.
And then run it that way.
Indeed. Let's see. St. Clair College, well, we've stated that they are usually playing really, really normal champions, thinking normal, bruisers top lane, control mages mid lane. But we are going to see the ban phase start, and we are seeing that Durham Lords has banned Darius. What do you think of that?
Yeah, Darius is one of Topablo's staple picks, right? He is known for not just a lot of the traditional top laners that are meta right now, like the Aatrox, the Cassante, the Ambessa. He is also known for this Darius. That's another one of his comfort picks. And I think they would rather deal with something traditional, because the traditional stuff has less of a chance to blow things out of the water. And we see the bans follow now as we have Talia taken away by St. Clair.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. A very popular jungle mid-flex pick. We see the Nunu getting banned on the side of Durham. That is an interesting choice. I mean, their jungler does like playing Nunu. It is true. Nunu main. I'm wondering what their response will be.
Yeah, it's so Mowgli does not just like the Nunu, he likes in general a lot of assassin junglers, I believe. Stuff like the Zed, the Kiana, the Silas, stuff that'll just get in your face and burst in. And yeah, we're just running through this ban phase. The Gwen taken away from the top side of Durham, and then the Ivern taken away from St. Clair Saints, which is a bit of a weird one.
Interesting. We are going to see a Lulu ban hovered, probably going to be locked in. I mean, that does make sense. St. Clair might be looking to target, essentially, Dolly with the Enchanter playstyle, especially if they believe their ADC can essentially snowball and carry the game.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what the exact rulings are in this in the LAN event. If you have to lock your roster before you end up deciding how the draft goes, and I think that is probably the case, and we do see Dolly on the side of Durham Lords. Now, Lucian is the first pick, and that's an interesting one, and we already see fast answers by Tristana and Jace for St. Clair. What do you think?
I think that this is going to be an interesting bot lane filled with action, honestly.
Yes, definitely.
However, it does depend on what the supports pick. We have seen the Lulu ban. That is very interesting.
Yeah, it's a very fun one, but it's actually one of Erkin's most played picks, and I think it is the most played pick, and he's known for picking that a ton in solo queue. That is the Vel'Koz pickup, finally locked in, and that's a fun one. That is one of my favorite champions to play, as I enjoy him a lot, and we're already seeing the Nico hover, and I think this is all but confirmation that Dolly is the one playing. I
mean, it makes sense. It's a great champion. Dolly has seen much success on Nico, and Vel'Koz would be going mid, of course.
Yep.
It is, after all, Erkin's main, he said. Studying to be a paramedic, apparently. So not a real-life support. Just a support main, at least formerly.
That's a fun one, and hey, this draft is continuing to shape up interestingly. We have the Zoe locked in for the side of St. Clair Saints mid laner, And
Interesting.
that's fun, right? Siren going to be picking that Zoe. Now this Jace, I'm curious to see if this is going to be Jace top or Jace jungle. Jace jungle is something that has seen a good bit of rise lately, and I think it's still pretty powerful in the new season. I'm not sure, and we're already getting through to this. The teams are drafting so fast. Malphite, Mordekaiser, and then now Jarvan already banned.
I mean, that makes sense. Malphite, we've seen jungle build essentially whatever.
Yeah.
Go to the dollar store essentially. We've seen Mordekaiser a few times, I believe.
Yes.
Probably a good choice, although I'm not too sure why. Well, the Cassante ban makes sense as a reasonable thing to just ban, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, Mord and Cassante both make sense, right? As Spice Mikey does like a lot of these, more traditional bruisery style tops. This Seraphine hover is very interesting. The Senna, we are definitely going to see something so never mind. It's just going to be Nautilus.
I mean, it does make sense. Excellent engage along with Tristana. Essentially, if you get her going, Tristana turns into Rengar, but, smaller.
Ooh, but look at this. This is the Nefiri. It would be Nefiri jungle almost certainly if it's locked here.
So.
And I think that is actually something that Slack Mason likes, right? Yeah, he does like stuff like the J4, which was taken away, the Wukong, the Nefiri, and Nefiri already locked. They're going to pair that up with, as I said, some of these traditional team play top laners for the side of Spice Mikey, and that's the Ornn.
I believe that's one of a few, pretty much pure tank champions that we've seen so far. We've seen a lot of Ambessa, we've seen Renekton and things like that, but essentially Ornn, who's a true tank, is going to be very helpful. Well, yes, nowadays. It's going to be very helpful in protecting the Lucian and perhaps continuing the CC chain that a good Nico can have.
Yeah, and the final pick, it is shaping up to be an Ambessa. That is a hover, and it is a lock. The Ambessa going to get played into the Ornn, which does confirm... actually, you know what? I still don't know where St. Clair's picks are going, because the Ambessa could go top, the Jace could go top, and both could also go into the jungle.
That's true. They're both very good top laners and junglers nowadays.
Yeah. With the recent buffs, I think, towards preseason and, now in main season, both are very flexible. Though just off the top of my head, I think it is more likely that Topablo is going to be going for the Ambessa, because I think he leans towards a lot of these, bruisery, kind of tanky-ish top laners, and Jace doesn't really align with that a lot, so we will probably be seeing that Jace pilot to jungle.
Who do you think will get first blood in this game?
Ooh, I think that's an interesting one. I think it would be... I think we're going to see some early action towards bot lane, right? Because it's Lucian, Nico versus Tristana, Nautilus.
That just sounds like, somebody's dying in 2 minutes.
So I think it really depends on how the Lucian Nico are able to deal with what happens when the Tristana rocket jumps in. Because likely what will happen is, I think we might actually even see a level 2 engage if the Nautilus isn't pushed back too far. Like, he might be going for that anchor, hit Nico or something along those lines, and Nico might not have a clone at that time. And then the Tristana will just rocket jump on in. We're going to see burst. If the Nico can survive, I think the side of Durham will get that first blood.
Indeed. Let's see. Also, what do you think of the Ornn versus Ambessa matchup?
I'm not too familiar with top lane matchups, but I would imagine that it is slightly Ornn favored early on until Ambessa gets Eclipse. I'm not sure what she builds nowadays, but until Ambessa gets her first item, it should be Ornn favored, and then at that point, it would be Ambessa favored, and now we are starting to get into game as both teams are having a little bit of fun, especially this Zoe and Tristana. They're excited to be on the Rift.
All right, and it's our first and last, I suppose, last game for St. Clair versus Durham. We are just experiencing a little bit of a tech issue right now, but it should be a very interesting game to watch. As we see, the Ambessa is indeed the top laner, and Jace has gone jungle.
As expected.
Yes, Nefiri is jungle and not like top or something. That's good. I think we are seeing teleports by both top laners, both mid laners. That's going to be a lot of macro play going on. That
I think it generally speaking makes sense, right? As Ambessa shouldn't really expect to take these duels and kill Ornn early.
That's
so
true.
It's just you play the waves, right? You TP back in, and unless you're macro, you shouldn't really be going for the Ignite Ornn for early game play, right? And then on the side of mid lane, right, it's about, oh, we see the early game 1v1. Flash already forced out by Airkin, and, well, that is now an immobile Vel'Koz, going to be miserable to play into Zoe Jace.
And of course, Nautilus still has Hex Flash, so his use of Flash is not going to be as impactful as Vel'Koz losing Bears. However, we do see that Nico is hiding in that bot bush, perhaps looking for something.
Yeah, she was hiding, not like Twitch though, unfortunately. And yeah, early trades going back and forth.
Jungle.
Yeah, a jungle trade, 1v1. Lonzo Heaton not wanting to continue the offense, but hey, Slack Mason, he's not letting up. He's making sure his voice is known. And well, this fight still going back and forth. The Raptors haven't been claimed yet, but crucially the big Raptor is on the side of Lonzo Heaton in that bush. But yeah, it just gets reset, and I think this does heavily favor Lonzo Heaton unless Flocon can get a push in.
Oh, got it. They're both still at level 1. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I think what happened is Slack Mason did actually get it here, and then that Lonzo Heaton got a few of the smaller Raptors, so they're both still at level 1. And in the bot lane, I think Miracle is posturing for going for that hook the moment they hit level 2. The Hex Flash gets denied, and there it is. He goes in, and now there's that rocket jump. It goes onto Nakumi Senpai, and a lot of damage coming through, but the charge does not end up getting popped, and I think that's crucial, which means Nakumi Senpai can continue to live, can continue to play this lane, but no flash for that Lucian makes it very dangerous.
I mean, with the use of the Ignite onto the Lucian Bear, I think we are going to see basically, it's a relief, essentially, to know that the other support used their Ignite, and now they don't have it anymore. We do see that Hextech Rocket Bell on the Zoe W slot. That's a very good spell for her to have, definitely.
Yeah, especially early with playing into the Vel'Koz, right?
Yeah.
Because Vel'Koz's E does tend to be pretty slow, so you can actually just maneuver around it and then get a cheeky bubble play out by, like, for Flocon.
Yes.
And I think Erkin, without the flash, makes that, is a little bit scared about that. And yeah, it looks like we do have a bit of a tech pause. I think there are some issues with Pablo's PC. So I think we are going to be waiting until then. But overall, I think the thing I wanted to point out while we were talking about the rest of the map is the top lane. There was a big trade coming in through from Pablo against Spice Mikey, which forced him to not only use his potion, but he has actually taken a good amount of damage, and the Ambessa still has the potion and a biscuit available.
That is quite concerning. I mean, she does have a bit more health, and of course, she doesn't have mana problems. While Ornn is, I don't know, about a quarter of mana left, he's probably gonna want to take it back. That's the thing. Everybody loves mana-less top laners so much because they don't have to worry about this issue. After all, with the introduction of a top role quest, you want to stay in lane as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And then, I mean, I think in terms of mid lane mana situation, right, Erkin's actually looking kind of low on mana. And that's actually very interesting, as Vel'Koz in general has relatively low mana costs for a mage mid laner. I think it is true unless Erkin has been W spamming, as that W, I believe, has a very high, like the Rift has a very high mana cost. But the Q, I think, is 40, and the E, I believe, is something like 50 or 55.
Yeah, I mean, we see that nobody has burned any summoners except for, of course, Vel'Koz Flash early to...
Both carries flashes actually on the side of Durham.
Oh, that's true, yes. Lucian had to flash away from some bot lane engage, and oh, that was a close dash, just barely misses. Let's see, Vel'Koz is gonna eat a bubble now. Oh, that's quite a bit of damage.
Oh, and the crucial thing is the turret shot doesn't even return back, so Flocon takes almost no damage. Erkin is basically pushed out of lane, as without flash it makes it very dangerous, and on the bot side a good bit of trading coming in through onto Miracle, but I think Miracle is pretty happy sitting where they are. They're a Nautilus, they're relatively tanky, and Flocon getting a chance to push this out may actually be able to secure double scuttle with Lonzo Heaton if he plays his card tricks.
Yes, I think that is very much a possibility here. Oh, he misses the minion. Oh no. I always ban Vel'Koz, so I'm a little happy, but oh, we see perhaps a creepy minion play going on. I think the enemy team knows.
Yeah.
Oh, that hits. Interesting.
Miracle is caught out there, but no damage to come through, and instead, yeah, mid lane looking pretty even. On the top side, Spice Mikey is teleporting back now as Pablo has continued to take a good lead. I think that wave will be crashing though. Oh no, it's actually a wave that's pushing away, so this is definitely a lead. And now Miracle goes in onto Dolly, but I don't think they recognize this is actually a 3v3. Slack Mason coming in through the reinforce, but Lonzo Heaton wants to find Slack Mason, but the first blood actually goes onto the Nefiri, but the health bars of St. Clair not looking great as Lonzo Heaton's forced to flash away. Nakumi Senpai follows through, grabs the double bust, and now is on Maddie with the slow. He just continues hitting, firing, Maddie getting taken low, and with no flash, no barrier, I think he will just barely limp away.
I do not think that fight was how St. Clair planned it at all. I think that was quite surprising. We see a bit of a skirmish at top. Pablo taking quite a bit of damage. I'm wondering if they'll stay here or back perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, after all, with the teleport available, I think seems to be staying around for now.
I think they're happy to stick around. You know, when they get a little low, they can just teleport back. Spice Mikey is still at level 5, does not have that Call of the Forge God available to him, so no real dive threat until that is available, and I think that's why he's happy. And now Flocon continues to build up his lead in mid lane. Hits another bubble, but I think the minions will just barely...
Oh! That's half an HP bar, really.
That is the rank 9 difference of Flocon with that. That's a rank 9 bubble if I've ever seen.
As we are moving top lane, we see a gank happening. It seems to be... No, Ornn's already too far back. Nothing really happened. And now the...
Oh, Miracle with a bit of a hook that goes wide, but the Sleepy Trouble bubble lands onto Erican. The Ignite just ticking, but Flocon makes sure the Ignite isn't what secures the kill, and instead it is the Zoe. That is a very good kill to have on Flocon, and not only that, he is also another kill's worth of CS up.
This minion looks a little suspicious. Oh, a little bit of damage on it. Finally some... Oh, no, nobody's put vision onto the dragon yet, but they know that nobody is on it. This Tristana's just farming out. You know, everything seems to be going pretty steadily according to plan. I mean, we see the gold difference is not too great. St. Clair is actually slightly ahead, but even despite being down a kill, we see that Nefiri has a shutdown, as expected, of course.
Yeah. A lot of this gold difference, as kind of expected, is on Flocon, right?
Yes.
I think he is the player to watch this game, and picking up a mage such as Zoe, that is one of the characters that you can watch really well. And he has been putting on an absolute clinic, finding a kill, now being up, 13 CS, that's 2 whole waves. And on the top side, we have the Ambessa up almost 3 whole waves, trying to trade a little bit with Spice Mikey, and with both of them having their ults available, the Call of the Forge God likely won't be called here as he has no reinforcement.
A 10 standoff in the bot lane
but they go on in.
Decides to go in.
Slack Mason tries to jump in onto Miracle after Maddie jumps away. A good bit of damage coming through. Slack Mason takes 1 kill, but I think he's happy as he should be able to convert that to the Hextech trade.
I mean, I suppose, yes. And Pablo has successfully pushed in his top wave. I think Flocon keeping the pressure up, getting a plate for herself.
I think it's the second plate, actually.
Oh, yeah. Jace trying to head mid. Interesting. This Tristana's farming fine. I think they are going to... I think somebody is getting impatient and will do the dragon soon.
Yeah, I think it was kind of interesting that Slack Mason opted to not do the dragon. I think he just wanted the bio. Oh, but we do have a bit of bot fight here as Maddie takes the go into Dolly and just jumps out. Doesn't want Nakumi Senpai to have any chance of finding the kill. And I think the return kill may have had a chance to be found if Nakumi Senpai had the mana available for the culling. And a little
almost
risky there with that back. And well, I think Maddie and Miracle are happy to get this pushed out.
Yes, I think they will be very happy too. And I think even if they call it right, well, Jace could potentially move down to the jungle after all. Oh, that just misses a little.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting.
Oh, but look, top lane. I think Spice Mikey is actually getting dove here. No, it's just a little bit of a trade. Yeah, the perfect execution, or sorry, the flawless execution and the Call the Forge God are both still available. Oh, Miracle hex flashing over, but doesn't want to commit as it would be a 2v2.
I think something interesting is going to head up top. Oh, the Ornn ultimate coming in. It does hit Jace, but nothing really happens. They get vision. They know where everybody is. I think this is just a bit of an interesting skirmish.
Yeah, I think so, but the result of that interesting skirmish is going to be Lonzo Heaton having the priority over this dragon. I think Vision does spot him out just barely there, so Durham is aware of it, but they just don't have the bodies on the map to be able to do anything about it. So it's one grub going down unlikely, all three. The question is can they do anything with the Hextech Drake, and I think not.
I mean, the Fury is just way too far up.
Yeah.
I don't think... Oh, we might see a huge Q here. Oh, that electric Q proc really, really hurts. I mean, I feel like on at least St. Clair, they might be down a kill, but I think they are just making the NFTP so uncomfortable. Like, as we can see top lane, the poor top laner is down like 30 farm and is always being kept under the turret. Same for mid, really.
And bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's so many things to worry about on the side of St. Clair that they could do to Durham, and I think they are trying to play it safer than I would expect.
Yeah, I mean, the saddest thing is there's almost a 20 CS gap in all three lanes, with that being even higher in the top lane. And despite the fact that there are 3 kills for Durham, it makes it pretty good for St. Clair, and we do see a bit of trading back and forth. The flawless execution available for Topablo, but he doesn't opt to use it there. As remember, it is an Ornn. Ornn is very tanky. You're not going to be cutting through that, and the first items, they start to come in, right, as the Nefiri has her item, and Zoe just got the Luden's Echo.
Yeah, I think... Oh, we might see an interesting play with a flash here. No, Zoe just decides to back off. As we can see, like, Ornn is forced under turret again at like a third of a health. He is not feeling good. I do hope that finally the dragon gets taken on the side of St. Clair. I think they could very reasonably take it. Although we do see the Nefiri bot side, of course. Yeah, they're just going to start it. They have vision over it. I think it's pretty... I don't think they even know. Well, they might know.
No, I think they definitely expect it with how the bot lane of St. Clair has moved, but I just don't think they can do anything about it.
Exactly.
Airkin is stuck under the turret against Flocon. That is a third plate for the Zoe, disturbing already.
Yes.
And then the other side, right, Nakumi, Senpai, and Dolly, they were just trying to push the wave out to get any good shot to back, and, well, with that back, Nakumi Senpai actually just got his Essence Reaver.
Yes. I think we have not seen, like... The thing with Zoe, of course, is her ult is...
But on the top side, we do have the Call to Forge God, and Topablo uses the Flawless Execution, but it's just dash, dash. That's what Ambessa does, and she just dashes her way on out. That is 2 ultimates. The Call to Pack also burned by Slack Mason.
We see some action in the bot lane as... not too much. Maddie does get the satchel charge onto the turret there, but, you know, get a bit of money for himself. As we see Jace and Nautilus moving towards mid, perhaps setting up for a game. No, Valkos has the intelligence to run away from it, but I do
They are on vision, so...
That is true, that is true. I mean, the thing with Zoe is the fact that she has no, like, real ultimate means that she is strong all the time. Versus the Vel'Koz, I don't think Vel'Koz used ult apparently, but it did not.
Yeah, it must have been in this extended mid fight, and now Alonso Heaton going on in, but Slack Mason pops the pack again and just grabs a few dogs, tries to chase, and both Floson and Alonso Heaton are looking kind of low, and that Sleepy Double does not connect. Otherwise, there is a very real chance that would have been killed in the Nefiri, and Dolly has to flash away. Maddie rocket jumps on in and just burns that Buster shot, not wanting any heat. And now Topablo with a bit of a trade against Spice Mikey, a good amount of health taken down, and as I said, the Eclipse, it is already online for Ambessa, and that is the point at which this matchup should be massively flipped.
I mean, we are seeing the... Oh, no, just a small trade. We are seeing the gold lead of St. Clair steadily growing and growing. You can see, you know, the mid laner getting way more fed. Oh, an interesting ult coming out from Lucian. It does reduce them to quite low health. Oh, a solo kill top. Wow. And essentially gets away scot-free, too.
Yeah, I mean, that is the Eclipse power spike coming in through, right? Topablo getting a chance to chunk Spice Mikey while the wave was pushing in, and then, you know, getting a bit of chunk here and there on the under the tower, and then finally going for that kill. The Call to Forge got just barely knocked back up, and I think if that was up, there's a chance Spice Mikey still goes down, but, you know, gets a chance to trade back. But now Slack Mason gets a lot of damage onto Floson, but Floson, he's ticking, and it's a shutdown going over to the Vel'Koz. I think that is one place where you really want your gold. You want this Vel'Koz to be a big poke threat in the mid-game for objectives.
Especially with the addition of Blackfire Torch that he's bought. He's just trying to throw out Qs and everything just to burn everybody down. We are seeing, you know, the Luden's Echo from Zoe. That's a very reasonable vibe from her, of course. She wants to essentially kill people really, really fast.
Yeah.
We are seeing, of course, Vandal Pipes coming out from Nautilus. That's a very reasonable item. You know, very, very, very good. I do think that... It seems like something might be starting to go on bot lane, you know, with Jace passing down, but I think that they know.
Yeah, the wards are there in the bushes, so they know that they are dealing with a third member of the side of St. Clair there. And now Jace backs off, wants to look for something mid onto Erkin, who still doesn't have the flash available, but I think he doesn't expect that Slack Mason is also just hovering around mid, finishing up those wolves. And yeah, I think we've mostly slowed down at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the dragon doesn't spawn for another minute and a half. You know, the Rift Herald does spawn in 1 minute. I think Ambessa's advantage in the Ornn lane so far will definitely help them take it if they go it. Although Tristana goes down, I'm not too sure how. Pop Blossom was popped, and it does seem like it's both ADCs just die in this fight. Pretty reasonable, I'd say, for Durham to take this fight.
Yeah, I think it was a good chance there, right? They found Maddie in a bit of a tough situation. He tried rocket jumping away, and I think the Kumi-senpai actually burned the flash to just follow flash and then dash away and then continue that offense against Maddie, and that's why he fell. And now we do see a bit of a 2v2 once again. The Nafiri flashing forward onto Miracle now. Slack Mason wants to finish off this Nautilus, a lot of damage, but now Miracle just gets to walk away. But look, Floson is starting to move, but doesn't want to fight without his teammates at this point.
Indeed. We are seeing this
collecting the
Rift
flash.
Herald spawning in a bit. Oh.
It's another solo kill onto Spice Mikey. The Eclipse power spike, it is getting out of hand at this point as Pablo burned another flawless execution, another kill, and is probably going to turn to Rift Herald with the bot side, actually, of St. Clair.
Yeah, I mean, we see Pablo just pushing in this wave. Probably Jace will half upwards. We see Nautilus is joining in mid too. Perhaps something interesting will appear. I mean, Zoe does have flash. A Zoe with flash on W is quite a threat, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially with this dragon coming up, I think this should be a mostly uncontested dragon unless they're going for a bit of a pick here. Flash forward, gets the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but now Miracle goes on in, finds the hook there. Also eating a little bit slow, but Erkin, he's falling low. He takes a bunch of damage, falls down, but a lot of damage onto the members of St. Clair. Lonzo Eaton first to fall. A trade actually found onto Slack Mason. That's 3 killed in the extended fight as Maddie actually finds one onto Nakumi-senpai in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, but it's not over yet. Look, Spice Mikey is now reinforcing as Pablo is right here. There's the call to Forge God, but it's a little too late as the Forge God, he doesn't want to come through in time, and now Spice Mikey tries to get the kill onto Pablo, and Floson, a bit of damage from the turret. They take the turret down, and they want to follow onto Spice Mikey. Bit of an extended trade as Pablo, his energy is coming back up as Floson, he dodges away from the flash forward, and Spice Mikey, oh no, but I think he'll be able to live.
Probably. I mean, it was a close fight. Did he flash his mastery in the middle of that combo? Perhaps it was a mistake, but I mean, I'm quite surprised. Oh, the life form disintegration form coming in through where will Blackfire Torch kill him? I don't think so.
He stopped ticking.
Yeah, indeed. I was quite surprised they decided to essentially kill the full HP Ornn instead of doing an objective, but we do see the Jace is starting to solo the dragon. I wonder if Durham will start doing the Rift Herald as a response.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll get a chance to, right?
Probably
as the
not.
Zoe is teleporting up top,
Yeah.
they have a good amount of priority mid lane between Maddie and Miracle, so Lonzo Heaton is able to pick this up for free, and I think they should be able to posture towards also getting the Rift Herald as we see Lonzo Heaton and the bot lane of St. Clair just rotating up.
Yeah, I mean, Ambessa's going down to catch the bot wave, of course. I think there's a concerning lack of vision, at least for Durham. Unless they do something. We do see the Zoe doing a little bit of poke damage, but getting knocked up a little. Has to use the W exhaust. I wonder if Nautilus will... oh, yeah, that is probably going to be a bunch of CC, but was it a wise decision? It appears it was.
Yeah, the depth charge coming in through, making sure that Spice Mikey is taken down there, and Maddie, he found the kill onto Nakumi-senpai, but Dolly trades back there, finds one of her own, and Slack Mason, a lot of damage. The pack, or not the pack actually, the evade by Slack Mason to make sure he doesn't die there. And now Pablo just trying to get this turret push, trying to generate some pressure, but with this turret likely falling here, I think they can turn their eyes to the Rift Herald following this.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense. I mean, it's only been 18 minutes, but it feels like it's been half an hour. We've seen so many neutral objectives go the way of St. Clair, as well as turrets just falling. There's so much pressure around the map. What do you think?
Oh, but we already do see a bit of a flawless execution coming in through onto Erkin, but there's a life form disintegration rate. Pablo could have continued, but he doesn't, and instead he runs away, but not for long enough as his life is forfeit.
Ooh, that was a crazy outplay, I would say. But Jace is going to start doing the Rift Herald as a result. I mean, it's gonna be pretty safely taken, really. As Durham, if you were Durham here, what would you do to get back into the game?
So I think the idea here is you probably want to be waiting for this next dragon fight, right? And then at that point on that Chemtech Drake, you want to try to see if you can find a good flank angle for Slack Mason alongside a good fall called the Forge God by Spice Mikey. But speaking of Spice Mikey, he's in a bit of a dangerous situation as Miracle did Hex Flash forward there. Now with Flosan in the 1v1, just going to wait as long as they can. And oh no, the recall just to rub salt into the wound, and they're just stalling as long as they can. Oh, it's so brutal. They're delaying the timers, and the call of the Forge God burned as well. Flosan on a rampage, that's his 5th kill.
I'm surprised Ornn used the ultimate there. I'd be quite surprised. I don't think there's any world in which he wins that, but perhaps it was a bit of hope, and we do see no Fury there. Perhaps, oh no, the bubble goes wide and hits the dog instead. Yeah, I mean, perhaps there, you know, something interesting might happen. We do see Lifeform disintegration out for Cause.
Yep.
You know, if somebody can help, ouch.
That was a really dangerous Paddle Stars. It just chunked out half of Slack Mason's HP, and now they're looking to collapse onto Dolly. Dolly getting slowed by Lonzo Heaton, and there's Miracle. Miracle misses the anchor there, and Dolly with a Pop Blossom is able to disengage for just a moment. The depth charge comes on through, but buys enough space, and Dolly is sleeping. She is snoozing for a little too long, but now the re-engaged Lifeform disintegration rate getting a lot of damage onto Miracle and Maddie as Slack Mason's taken down, and Lonzo Heaton wants to continue the fight, gets taken down under the turret. That's a double kill for the Ornn, finding 2 shutdowns onto Lonzo Heaton and Flosan, but unfortunately, that's a double kill onto the Ornn.
I think that was quite, I mean, we saw with the Jace and the Zoe, they have really, really big boots that they can descend towards the enemy team, yet they still lost those. I mean, it was a 2 for 2, but I think in Durham's case, Durham definitely wants this, you know, for their support and jungler for their, like, essentially very fed Zoe. That is a great trade to make.
So that's kind of what I was thinking, right? On that next dragon, I was not actually expecting them to win, like, if they go for this next dragon, and that was the fight they took there, I wouldn't have expected them to win that either. I expected it to be even, but the goal there was to funnel some of those shutdowns into your carries so that they would be good for the following fight, and then can contribute at a pretty good level, and it would be a little more even.
Indeed. I mean, I don't think they expected Dolly to be the carry, but as we can see, she is quite fed. She has a Rocket Belt. She has
the Seeker's Arm Guard.
Yeah, Seeker's Arm Guard. And we do see a little bit of engage onto Ornn here.
Yeah,
Probably able to get away, has to dash away. There are a lot of people from St. Clair. The hook coming through, but
everything in the kitchen sink, thrown at Spice Mikey. The ultimate's still available, and I think they're going to turn onto the Baron, but hey, we could see a re-engage here. Actually, look at where Dolly is. This Pop Blossom could be very dangerous, and Miracle, might just go in for the Hex Flash. Roots up, Slack Mason gets the depth charge onto Nikumi Senpai as the flawless execution comes on through. Nikumi Senpai taking a lot of damage as Spice Mikey is also taken down there, and a lot of damage coming in through from both sides. Miracle a little low. I don't think they expect that Dolly is up on that top side, but I think they should be able to turn to the Baron safely.
Is Miracle still going for? No, just getting there.
Oh, Flosan getting caught out.
Yeah, that is a little unfortunate, but the Lifeform disintegration is, you know, used. As we just see the Baron get lower and lower, I think he's just going to take it and probably head towards the Chemtech Dragon to get themselves up to soul form.
Yeah, that they are. And well, with 4 Barons available to them, because Flosan did unfortunately overstay a little bit.
Yeah,
I think they should still be fine to be able to set up on this Chemtech Drake. Though Durham is going to be getting there first, and with 5 members, I think they're going to be forcing a start and a fight.
That's true. St. Clair momentarily has not much vision of this. In fact, it's just pure blank. I think, yeah, no, it just already goes.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a good start towards heading back in the right direction, but I mean, I do have to wonder, you know, what will happen from this Baron buff other than, you know, pushing every lane possible.
Yeah, and I think overall, all things considered, right, Durham was kind of coming into this as like a big underdog, you know, being seed 10 versus the reigning champions who were seed 2, right? But they're down about 7K, but they're still sort of holding their own on the bot side. We do a bit of an engage onto Pablo, pops the public execution there. There's the call, the forge bot coming in to replace Mikey, but the depth charge means it isn't even able to be reactivated. And Slack Mason also with a lot of damage on him. There are 3 members, but they're still doing very well. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble means that Dolly has to flash away, and it nearly kills her. The culling also popped there by Nakumi Senpai, trying to get a trade back and doesn't find anything. Floson flashes on in there and tries to find another Sleepy Trouble Bubble, just dashes away. Erkin nearly walks in onto it, but hey, they do get the Rift Herald charge, and there would probably be a second one onto the inhibitor turret, and I think they want to see if they can get 1, maybe 2 inhibitor turrets, including that mid lane.
I mean, this Ambessa is just pushing in lane, although we do see Floson force to, oh no, Floson is just a little dead there. I mean, this is still so much. They just send nukes at the enemy team and hope they get low.
Yeah, Floson, honestly, I think thus far has been playing a little bit disrespectfully of the engage of Durham. Right, he has been caught out a few times, but speaking of getting caught out, Miracle is the one that's getting caught out for now, but maybe not if Slack Mason gets some damage back onto him. A 2-man Pop Blossom, that's a double kill, instant burst onto Alonso, Heaton, and Miracle. Now it's to Pablo and Maddie. Maddie just free firing. Rocket jumps on in, finds one. It's another Goomba stomp, jumps on for a third, goes on to Erkin, and that's the 3rd kill there for Maddie. He wants more, but then he realizes it's a full HP Ornn. You know, let's just get on out.
Perhaps Maddie should join the Olympics for long jumping, because that might be the longest jump kill sequence I've seen in a while. I mean, they've taken the inhibitor. With luck, they could probably do non-trivial damage to the Nexus turret. I don't think they'll end here, but it is a distinct possibility now. I think we're just looking towards the end.
It is almost certain that they're going to end, but there's the call, the Forge God. Spice Mikey taken down, the delayed ace found by St. Clair, and the death timers, they're single digits, but we might just see it end here. It's very close. The public execution going wide, and then finally the Nexus falls down. St. Clair wrapping up their final game in a very clean fashion, brings them up to, I believe, 2-1, and now Durham is sitting at an 0-3, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, they were the underdogs coming into this game. They did put up a good fight. Lots of interesting plays that happened. We'd just like to take an opportunity to thank our sponsor, Esports Hosting Office, Waterloo Region, and thank you to dear viewers who have been watching us. We really appreciate your support, and to all the WaterLAN staff that helped make this event possible.
Yeah, fun fact, that is actually the final game of the day, so day 1 is wrapped up, and that means we're going to have a lot of fun games on day 2, and I hope you guys are all really excited for that. And I'm not sure if it's ended yet, but there is still the Valorant tournament going on the Conestoga Condors stream, so if you're interested in that, once we're off, you guys can head on over there, because that's sure to be a lot of fun. But with that in mind, everyone, thank you for showing up today. It was a pleasure to cast alongside you.
Thank you.
And, well,
yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see ya.